Hello and welcome to How to Fly 202 on Planetside Solo, KBBL Radio. I'm on Planetside 2. It's been about a week since our last video. I'm sorry about that. I was in another country. And some crazy things have gone on at the moment, so I won't get into that. Without further ado, I'm just going to run through some loadouts for your ESF that may keep you alive longer on the battlefield. And to do that, I'm going to counterintuitively go to the VR training room. Some people don't actually know about this. Some people I've talked to in game. So if you go to this console, the one with the globe on it in the spawn room, in the warp gate, sorry, and you click on VR training here, you will warp to it. Good. So once in the VR training room, you can jump this way, and there are some consoles, airplane consoles, tank consoles. Basically, if it's in the game and not a special unlock, you can try it here for free. So you can load up your airplane with any of the weapons in game, including the afterburner fuel tanks, and just play with them. But I'm just going to go through a loadout which I think is going to keep me and you alive probably a little bit longer, especially if you're a new pilot. So I'm just going to run through it quick. What I've done is kept the standard gun. So that's the standard gun for the TR it's the Needler. Whichever the standard gun is, they're all pretty much of a muchness for the different factions. They are high accuracy, kind of a sniper weapon, if you will. Throwing some thermal optics on there, that's going to help you see ground units, people on the ground, and probably some ammo, some extra ammo, because there's no point in flying around with an empty gun. The next thing I've done is gone to utilities. Now, my personal preference is the air engagement radar. That helps you see aircraft in the air, so you don't need to spot them. As soon as they're within a certain distance, they're going to start appearing around the screen as little icons. The other options, the ejection system, well, I don't think it's that good, to be honest. You can get an implant that mitigates fall damage. So if you do want to take an engineer, land and repair your plane, you can do that. Decoy flares, stops incoming, lock-on missiles, again useful, but if you see the lock symbol, just fly out of its range, head afterburner, go in the opposite direction or whatever. Fire suppression, well, if you're dogfighting, that's probably a really useful add-on, if I'm going to be honest. You're taking damage, it's either you or him, you pop fire suppression, you get some health back, and you win the dogfight in theory. But as a low ability pilot myself, I want to pick and choose my battles. And the scout radar is basically seeing stuff on the ground, but we've got custom vision on the gun, the thermal vision on the gun. So for me, air engagement radar is where it's at. As far as defense goes, I tend to run the auto repair system. Vehicle stealth will increase the time lock-on missile launchers take to actually lock you before launching their missiles. That can be useful, but if you know how to break the lock, if you fly behind trees or buildings or even friendly aircraft, you can usually break the lock or just fly out of their range. They've nerfed the range since the game was released, so you're not being hit from half a map away by lock-on missiles. And composite armor. Well, that mitigates incoming damage, but it doesn't do anything other than that. So you can stay in battle longer, but if you're taking just flak from everywhere, the best thing to do is get out of the battle, break away, and that's where the auto repair system comes into play. 12 seconds after you've finished taking damage, the vehicle is going to start repairing itself. And even on the first level, it's 5% every 5 seconds, so it's quite handy and a fairly cheap add-on. As far as performance goes, I tend to prefer the dogfighting airframe. I tend to prefer maneuverability over the ability to just sort of hover, because if you're hovering in the air, you are actually quite a large target, and you will find tankers tend to fire their main gun at you, and if they hit you with a main gun, it's basically a one-shot kill. And high-speed airframe, well, that would be the opposite of the dogfighting airframe. If you want to zip around very quickly, jink into and out of combat, you probably want the high-speed airframe. But for me, the dogfighting airframe is definitely where it's at. With those three together, I feel it's a fairly strong loadout, and you can switch the secondary out to whatever you feel like. These are going to run you about 1,000 each, 1,000 certs each. Sorry, or you can pick them up in sale. I picked the Hornet missiles up in the sale for, I think it was a 1-station cache at some point. Otherwise, the cheapest add-on for your wings is the Mosquito air-to-air missile pods. Don't really work that well on places like Hossin because of all the trees, and you have to maintain lock. So, to be honest, my favorite secondary is either going to be the Hellfire, the LOL pods, or the Coyote missiles. I definitely have LOL pods on my Vanu character, but I'm just gonna load them up for now. And yeah, it looks pretty mean, doesn't it? So we're going to spawn and just see what happens when we get up in the air. So we are now up in the sky. The Mosquito is actually, for my money, it's the nicest of the three vehicles. In fact, I'm just going to land it and have a look at it. Yeah, Mosquito time. So yeah, compared to the Scythe, compared to the Reaver, I think the Mosquito actually looks nicest. Strange cockpit, really large tailplane, but it's aesthetically, it's got to be my favourite. And you can see the large Smarty on the back. That's the air engagement radar, and already you can see 500 meters away we see a Liberator, Valkyrie, Galaxy. All these aircraft are being shown up, even though I haven't Q-spotted them. Now I can hold right mouse button, the thermal vision kicks in, and I can see all these people on the ground. Even though the aircraft are on the ground, the air engagement radar will still pick them up because they are air vehicles. If I switch to the rocket pods using the mouse, I can just fire a bunch of rockets and then finish them off with a gun. Well, in theory. There we go. A nice synergy between primary and secondary weapon systems there. The other thing, R will reload your weapons. You might want to bind that to something else because E is jump in and jump out of aircraft. And if you, in the heat of battle, tap E, well, you're going to lose the airplane. Shift is obviously go very fast. The dogfighting airframe is actually fairly good, so we can just swing her around. Not too much problem. I mean, this when you attach something in the VR training room, you actually attach it at max level. So this is what it would be like if you'd thrown a ton of certs into your aircraft. Even though even the basic one is fairly good though. So it's a really short but hopefully useful video. I just want to show you something that I feel would actually benefit you, probably keep you alive. Let's finish him off. In the VR training room, these guys aren't shooting back, which is kind of an unfair representation of a battlefield. In reality, they wouldn't just be sitting on the ground waiting for you to come and shoot them, but it does mean that you get to test out all the weapon systems. Trying the different guns and stuff is kind of useful, and it also means you can throw your aircraft around and do crazy stuff without it mattering too much. You don't get a KD in the training room, so you can just smack off things and just see what happens. In fact, can we take some damage? Can I take some damage without blowing up? Ooh, no. I was going to try and show the auto repair system, but nope. In any case, I think that's probably a good place to leave it. I would recommend coming here if you haven't done so already and just trying everything out that you can possibly try. If you have some certs and you're wondering what gun to buy, definitely come here and just give them a play. You might find something that looks good on paper, isn't actually that good. It's just not you. Let's see what we got. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.